Welcome back to another Pokemon Throwback Thursday, where every Thursday morning we take a deep dive into a vintage set. We are going in complete order, and the set we are checking out today is Platinum Rising Rivals. We'll be checking out some sold listings of some sealed products and some cards. And then, in honor of the Mewtwo that we just got revealed for Destined Rivals, we are going to be comparing that card with a ton of Mewtwo's throughout all of Pokemon history. But before we get started, we do have to give thanks to our video sponsor, and that is Punch-Out Gaming. Punch-Out Gaming is my local game store that I go to, and it's the #1 game store in all of Minnesota. I've actually been to them all. You can order right from their site, but definitely if you're ever in Minnesota, they're only 30 minutes north of the Twin Cities, and all the links are in the description. Nobody can beat the variety, I promise you that. So definitely check them out. All right, let's check out Rising Rivals. So 111 cards plus 9 secret rares. Came out May 16th, 2009. This is the set symbol right here. So we're starting off, we got some decent cards, you know, Flygon, Lucario, but honestly, nothing super crazy. We got a nice Flareon there. But if we scroll down, we got a good amount of level X's here. We got the Alakazam, the Floatzel, Flygon, Gallade, Hippowdon, Infernape, Luxray, Mismagius, and Snorlax. Huge fan of this Snorlax. Might be one of my all-time favorite cards. Looks like he's really coming out of the card. And then we have a nice little subset. I like when they do these little subsets. Super fun, easy to collect. And if you're a big Rotom fan, definitely check these cards out. There's only 6 of them. And then we also have the Flying and Surfing Pikachu, which are reprints from original Wizards of the Coast Black Star promos. And then we have this Pikachu card here. If this card looks familiar, it's because it looks just like the base set card. It's just a little bit more modern. He's much skinnier. But I think that's a pretty cool card. It's one of my wife's favorite Pikachu cards. But yeah, I had a ton of fun opening this set. I think I was in 11th grade. But I did pull the Infernape and the Surfing Pikachu. I do remember that. But all right, let's check out some prices here. We got the Snorlax Level X. Now, there's not a ton of sales data, especially in a 10. Look at the pop. There's only 25 of them. But last sold in a 10 is $1,800. Then for raw, we got 60, 180, 60, 108, 105, 125, 182, 200. And we do got a 9 up there at 941. And before that, it was 660. So very, very expensive card for sure. Then we got the Flying Pikachu. Again, look at the pop. Only 11. Last sold $1,800 in a 10. And raw, 50, 51, 70, 40, 80. We got a 9 at 135 and another 9 at 151. But yeah, a lot of these cards have no PSA 10 sales data because they just have not been sold in a long time. We will see if the Flygon has any. We got one at $818 since the pop is 17. And we got a 9 at 243 and 355. And then raw, you know, 79, 36, 103. Pretty much these cards are going to be near the $100 mark if you want them super, super clean. And we got to check the secret rare Pikachu. So last sold on this in a 10, which we got a somewhat recent sale, is $3,299, pop of 11. I mean, that is crazy. And we got a 9 at 199, and then there's that 10, pop 11. So yeah, not long ago at all, super recent. Let's check this Alakazam here. So in a PSA 10, we got a sale at 984 with a pop of 16. That was probably a while ago. And then raw, we got 39, 87, 40, 27, 52, 30, 48, 61, and a 9 at 292 and 305. And we're going to check eBay real quick because sometimes Pokedata does not always update everything, especially, you know, if it's a super rare card like these. But we got the Surfing Pikachu sold for $3,500 in a PSA 10. We got that other secret rare Pikachu for $3,300. We got the Snorlax in a PSA 9, 2 grand best offer accepted. Here we got the Infernape in a PSA 10 for $1,500. Sold from Z&G. And we got a bunch of level X cards here for $1,000. That's beautiful. Ooh, we got the Platinum Rising Rivals Sealed Blister Booster Pack full set. Wow. Sold for $1,000 only. That's crazy. Super cool though. Another Snorlax and a 9 for $941. See if we can see anything different. Even the Gallade Hollow in a PSA 10 sold for $750. And we even have the Floatzel Level X in a PSA 10 sold for $700. Then for booster packs, you know, we got blister packs here for $195, $200, $200, $200. Just a regular pack for $157. I really feel like this set is a lot crazier than people think. And then you guys seen these pops. I mean, it is a pretty stacked set if you really look at it. Not to mention, you know, the Pikachus and stuff too. There's that full art set for $1,000. But I mean, pretty affordable booster packs. We got a Scizor Platinum Rising Rivals pack right here for only $125. And then we got a couple booster box sales, $9,000. Pretty clean looking booster box also. All right, so we are checking out a ton of Mewtwo cards because we just got our new Mewtwo EX revealed for the Glory of Team Rocket, which is going to be our Destined Rival set. Now, I've seen so many comments and people saying that they just do not like this card at all. It's not my all-time favorite art, but I still think it's a very, very solid art. So what we're going to do is we're going to check out some of the greatest Mewtwo's to have ever existed in Pokemon history, and we're going to compare it to this new Mewtwo to see if this Mewtwo is actually good or not. So we're going to start off, the newer stuff. This is Throwback Thursday, so obviously we got the Mewtwo illustration rare. This is a promo. Very, very solid. I wish it was a special illustration rare, but, still not bad. Then we got the Sword and Shield era, which the Mewtwo V-Star, where he's fighting Charizard. That's a fan favorite. The Mewtwo V in the Sky, I've seen a ton of people complain about that one also, which, I think it's solid. The Mewtwo V-Star, not my favorite. I do like the Mewtwo V Union card. I am a big fan of that. But all right, let's get into some older cards here. We're going to go from cheapest to most expensive. We got the Wizards of the Coast Black Star promo. This is number 3. So it got down to $67 in a PSA 10 in March of 2024. Now last sold in a 10, 330, 242, 232. And raw 14, 12, 10. We got 9s at 35, 29, 65. So that PSA 10 went crazy. Next, we got another Mewtwo Black Star promo. This is number 12. So this got down to $170 in a PSA 10 in 2023. Now last sold 372. We got a 9 at 122 and 110. And raw 42, 30, 30, 42, 30. This is my favorite Mewtwo Black Star promo out of the 3 we're looking at. And now we have number 14. So this got down to, $96 in a PSA 10. Now last sold 196. And then raw, we got 7, 3, 5, 13, 9, 6, 10. Very, very affordable card. Next, we have the Mewtwo and Mew GX tag team. Now, this card is not textured, so this is just a regular tag team. Got down to about $70 in a PSA 10 in March 2024. And now last sold in a 10, 315, 232. We got a 9 at 79. And then raw, $30, $40, $50, $60. All depends on condition. Next, we have the full art of the Mewtwo and Mew GX. I think this is one of the best full arts we've ever gotten of Mewtwo. So this got down to $100 in a PSA 10 in 2024. Now last sold 180, 305. And we got a 9 at 65 and 76. And then raw, we got 55, 80, 58, 52, 70. Next, we have the shiny Mewtwo GX from Hidden Fates. I love shiny Mewtwo. Got down to $86 in a PSA 10 in September of 2024. Now last sold 199, 167, 164, and then we got a PSA 9 at 65, 60, 60, rod 50, 55, 43, 80. Next, we have the full art Mewtwo EX from Breakthrough. I absolutely love this card. This card is number 164 and got down to $338 in a PSA 10 in October of 2024. Now last sold 1,099, 1,070, and we got a 9 at 219, and raw at 33, 65, 54, and 40. But these are definitely some of my all-time favorite Mewtwo cards. These are definitely in my top 10 for sure. Hands down, the texture on this card is crazy, the gold border. Next, we have the other one from Breakthrough. This is number 163. So, same thing, got down to $362 in a 10, and then now last sold $999. And then for raw and stuff, we got 30, 15, 30, 41, and then 9 last sold 160, 150, 139, 109, 95. Next, we have the full art Mega Mewtwo EX. Now, these aren't my favorite Mewtwo cards, but I will admit the texture is super, super crazy. Oh, and I forgot to check pops. So for the full art Mega Mewtwo, this is the blue one. Pop in a 10 is 386, pop in a 9 is 495. For the Mewtwo Breakthrough card, number 163, pop is 203 in a 10, and pop is 594 in a 9. Now for the other Breakthrough card, pop is 225 in a 10 and 699 in a 9. Then we got the shiny Mewtwo GX from Hidden Fates. Pop on this card, 5,527. Pop in a 9, 3,594. Now we got the Mewtwo and Mew GX Tag Team Full Art. Pop on this is only 474 in a 10, and in a 9, 473. And then we got the regular Mewtwo and Mew GX Tag Team. Pop on this, 1,300 in a 10 and 832 in a 9. And then we got the Wizards of the Coast Black Star promo. Pop on this is 300 to 1 for number 14 and 810 in the 9. And the other promo, number 12, pop in a 10 is $239, and the pop in a 9 is $388. And they don't have pop on this last Mewtwo card. But all right, let's get back to it here. So the Mega Mewtwo, very cheap card, was $186 in a PSA 10. Now last sold $1,990. We got a 9 at $255. Raw at 50, 30, 50, 64. Next, we have the other Mega Mewtwo. This is like the pink card. Pop on this in a 10 is $372, and in a 9, $515. Look at that line going straight up. This was $163 in a 10. Now last sold $1,500. We got another 10 at $1,600. And then raw 32, 50, 60, 77, 75, 45. Next, we have the Mewtwo EX from EX Ruby and Sapphire. Beautiful holo card. This was $1,450 in a 10 in September 2024. Now last sold $2,850. The pop on this in the 10 is only 73, and then in a 9, 426. And then raw, we got 153, 35, 20, 38, 125, 125, 85, and we got a 9 at 500 and another one at 405. Next, we have the Armored Mewtwo. I love this promo. Just wish it had texture. In a 10, there's only 280, and in a 9, there's only 1,605. So it got down to $370 in a 10. Now last sold $1,800. We got a 9 at 190, 162, 229. And then raw at 40, 97, 120, 65. Next, we have the Mewtwo and Mew GX tag team. Love this card where Mew's laughing at Mewtwo. Pop on this is 5,076, and in a 9, 2,400. So this card got down to $115 in a 10. Now last sold $795 and $589. Raw 85, 100, 125, and a 9 at 180 and 187. Next, we have the Mewtwo and Mew GX tag team Rainbow. Pop on this, 1,019 in a 10, and in a 9, 804. Got down to $220 in a PSA 10. Now last sold $525, $525. We got a 9 at 300 and 218, and raw at 157, 157, and 130. Next, we have the Rockets Mewtwo Best of Promos. This is the winner card. I love the reverse holo on this thing. There was no info really on Pokedata for this card, but last sold on TCG Player 277, 269, 260. And we did have a PSA 10 sale at 2,538, and then we got a 9 at 399. Next, we have the Rockets Mewtwo Unlimited Holo. So last sold in a 10 is $405, and before that, $559. And then it's going up a little bit like for raw and TCG Player, but raw 99, 70, 30, 75, 130, 180. Again, it really depends on condition and stuff. And then a 9 is around $275. The pop though in a 10 is only 70 for this card, and in a 9 is 702. But up next, we got the first edition Rockets Mewtwo. This got down to $945 in a 10. Now last sold $2,075 and $2,100 before that. We got a 9 at $399, 600. Raw at 208, 516, 250, 170. And the pop for the first edition is 279, and in a 9 it's 843. Next, we have the Mewtwo GX card from Shiny Legends, also called the Mewtwo card. Pop on this thing is pretty high, 2,383, and in a 9, 4,800. So this card was $350 in a PSA 10. Now last sold $2,350, $2,125. We got a 9 at 475, 475, 492. Raw at 250, 240, 330, 300, and 163. Next, we have the Mewtwo Holo Expedition. This card only has a pop of 60 in a 10 and 340 in a 9. And in a 10, last sold 2,854. We got a 9 at 593. And then raw 140, 199, 144, 105, 400. So it really depends on condition. All right, next, one of my favorite Mewtwo's on the list. They took the Black Star promo that we looked at in the beginning, and they put it in the Legendary Collection Reverse Holo. Love that Reverse Holo. So last sold in a 10 is $4,325 with a pop of 51. And in a 9 was 221 with a pop of 265. And then raw, last sold 140, 235, 180, 175, 163, 245. Card is getting very expensive. It used to be so cheap. Next, we have the Shadowless Mewtwo from base set with a pop of 75 for a 10. Says last sold is 4K. And then in a 9, we got a pop of 631. And last sold for the 9, we got a new one at $702. And then raw, you know, you can get them pretty cheap if they're damaged, you know, 30, 40, 50 bucks. But if you want some nicer ones, it's going to be definitely closer to $100. I mean, we got tons of sales here at 70, 80, 90 bucks for raw. All right. Now we have the first edition Shadowless base set Mewtwo. Pop on this, 82 in a 10, and pop in a 9, 552. says last sold in the 10 is 11,000, and then we got a 9 and a 3K. And then for raw, I mean, these are not the correct cards. It says first edition holo, but it probably was the unlimited. A lot of people, when they think they have an unlimited holo card, they think it's a first edition card because it's, you know, the first set. But that is not true. To get like an actual raw card in decent condition is very expensive. So we got a PSA 6 at 456, another 6 at 646. We got a 9 at 3200, another 6 at 651. I mean, even a PSA 3 costs 295. PSA 7 at 672, PSA 1 at 409, PSA 5 at 700. So very, very expensive card. Next, we have the unlimited shiny Mewtwo. We are getting to some of the big boys. Pop on this card in the 10 is 296 and in the 9, 765. And then raw, we got 418, 600, 575, 392, 275. We got a 10 at 2200. And we got a 9 here. That is a PSA 1. Let's see. We got another 10 at 3K. That 9 there is 925. We got another 210 one, but it's a PSA 1. I don't know why they're marking it as a PSA 9. We got a PSA 8 at 622, another 8 at 590, and another 10 down here at 2K. Next, we have the first edition shiny Mewtwo. So pop on this is 229 in the 10, and pop in the 9 is 343. And last sold, we got raw at 1,000, 1,000, 250, PSA 9 at 1,500. We got another 9 at 2,250, and we got a 10 at $5,800. And then raw 250, 450, 500, 450. Another 10 at 5K. Next, we have the Team Rockets Mewtwo EX. This card is crazy. Pop on this thing is 84 in a 10, and in a 9, 277. Now last sold 250 raw, 335, 419. We got a 9 at 2175 and 2251. And we got a PSA 10 at $3,550. But this card's very, very expensive. And it very rarely pops up in like clean condition online. It drives me nuts. I have one, but it's definitely like moderately played. One of my worst condition cards in my whole collection probably. So I really got to get a near mint one. And last on the list, we have the Mewtwo Gold Star. Pop in a 10 is 124, in a 9, 273. Now last sold raw 438, 425. We got a 10 at $11,100. Raw 456, 399, 700, 650. We got a 9 at $3,900. Another one at 31, 37, 3750, 3500. We got an 8 at 1650. So yeah, that was basically the best Mewtwo cards in Pokemon English history. But yeah, let me know down below what you guys think, which ones are your favorite one. And is the Destined Rivals Mewtwo that bad? You know, does it beat a lot of these cards? I would love to know. But all right, that was today's Pokemon Throwback Thursday. If you guys do like this content, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. If you guys want to support more, you can check out my Instagram or my YouTube membership. It's only 99 cents a month. But all right, I want you guys to have a great day. And if you want to watch my last Pokemon What If Wednesday, where we talk about prismatic evolutions, click this video here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.